Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how you can build this simple wooden Viking chair. It costs about $20 in lumber. It's easy to build and it makes a great chair for all sorts of different uses. Alright, to build this wooden Viking chair, the tools required are very basic. We're going to need a drill with a 1/4 inch drill bit. You'll need a jigsaw. You can make all the cuts with a jigsaw. If you have a circular saw, that will make some of the cuts quicker, but if you don't have one of these, you can build this entire chair with a jigsaw. And then we're also going to want a speed square and a tape measure. Next, for the material, we are going to be using a 2x10 for this chair. So this is 8 foot long, 9 1/4 inch wide. So as you can see, this 2x10 is actually 9 1/4 inch wide, and then it is 8 foot long, 96 inch. To build one of the chairs, we technically only need 6 feet of lumber. The problem is you can't buy 6-foot boards anywhere, so your option is either to buy an 8-foot board and then you'll have some waste, or you could buy a 12-foot board and make 2 of these chairs. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is take our 2x10 and we are going to cut the 2 pieces. So we want to cut 2 pieces at 36 inch, which is 3 foot. So I've marked my board. I'm going to cut this. Like I said, if all you have is a jigsaw, you can cut this with a jigsaw. I'm going to use my circular saw to cut this board. A little trick to keep your cut square: use a square and then rest your circular saw against it. That's going to keep your cut nice and straight. After we cut this first board at 36 inches, we'll put it off to the side, and then we'll go back to the 8-foot 2x10. We'll measure 36 inches and cut another board, which will be identical to the first. Bring the camera in and show you guys just to confirm. So as you can see, 36 inch long. Both of these are cut at 36 inch. Now, if you're the type of person that likes to build something and use physical plans with dimensions, I do have build plans available for this build. They are in the video description. I sell them on my Etsy for a couple dollars, which helps support me, or you can just follow this video for free. As you can see, these chairs are made up of 2 pieces that fit inside of each other. We're going to start by building this piece, which is the seat. We'll grab one of the 2 pieces that we cut. We are going to measure 11 inches and then make a mark. And we'll take our speed square and we want to transfer that line all the way across, just like that. So I'll bring the camera in and show you guys. This first mark that we made, as you can see, we're hooked on the end. We've got a line at 11 inch. And we drew that line all the way across. Next thing we're going to do is hook our tape measure on. We're going to make a mark at 1.5 inches, and then we're going to go over to the other side, make a mark at 1.5 inches, and then we'll do the exact same on the bottom. Make a mark at 1.5 inches, and over on this side, make another mark at 1.5 inches. Now, we want to connect these lines, so you want to use something nice and straight, like a level. So I've got my 1.5 inch marked at our 11 inch and at the bottom here, and then I'm just going to take my level and I am going to draw a line all the way up. Just like that. And then I'm going to place a couple X's on that line. Now I'll do the exact same on this other side. I'll place my level so that it's touching those 1.5 inch marks, and then I'll grab my pencil and I will transfer my line up to that 11-inch line we drew. And then again, we're going to be cutting this out. So I like to place X's, as that's a visual reminder to cut that out. Okay, so that you can see this, we've got our 11-inch line right here. And then over here, we drew a line at 1.5 inches. We did the exact same on that side. And then we transferred that line all the way down to the bottom. Grab yourself some safety glasses, and we are going to cut along this 1.5-inch line on both sides. So like I said, if all you have is a jigsaw, you can make this cut with a jigsaw. Just make sure to follow your line. I'm going to be using a circular saw, as it's a little bit quicker and easier to cut with. And if you have a clamp, it's always nice to clamp the board onto your work area to ensure that it's not going to move. So now I'm going to make this cut. I'm using the circular saw to cut all the way up this 1.5-inch line. Then I'm going to grab my jigsaw and come in from the side and then come back and clean that cut off. Okay, to show you guys that cut, as you can see, this is the piece that we had marked 1.5 inches with all the X's. And I cut right down the line. So you want to do your best to cut that pencil line off without going onto the other side of the pencil. And then over here I came in with the jigsaw and got a clean cut there. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And again, if all you have is a jigsaw, you can make all these cuts with that jigsaw, no problem. Here's a look at that piece that we just cut. So we're going to take this, put it off to the side. We will grab our other piece we cut at 36-inch, and we are going to measure and mark 11-inch. So we'll make a mark at 11-inch and grab our square and draw a straight line going right across. You can see we're hooked on the bottom. I made a mark at 11-inch and I drew that line straight across. We're going to make another measurement on here. So we're going to hook our tape on the bottom. We are going to measure 12 3/4 of an inch. We're going to make a mark and draw a line straight across. So I'll bring the camera in again and show you guys that. I want to show you all the steps because this is very important. You can see we're hooked on the bottom. This new mark we made is at 12 3/4 of an inch, and I drew that straight across. Grab our tape measure. We're going to measure over from the side. We want to measure over 1 inch, 1 3/8 of an inch. So I'll bring the camera in to show you guys that. If you're not familiar with 3/8 of an inch, I'll show you just so that nobody gets confused. And then we are going to do that on both sides. So hook onto the side, measure and mark 1 3/8 on the upper and lower line. On those marks, and then all we're going to do is connect the marks using something straight like our square. We're going to connect those marks we just drew at 1 3/8. So I've got this all marked out. I'll bring the camera in to show you, and I'm going to place some X's on the piece we want to cut. Show you exactly what this is here. So this line that you can see right here, that's 1 3/8 of an inch. So looking down at the tape measure, here is our 3/8. It is slightly smaller than 1.5, so that's 1 3/8. And I did the exact same thing on both sides. Then what we want to cut out is this middle piece. So again, I'm putting X's on it so that I make sure to be aware of what I'm cutting. So now we're going to cut out this slot. So again, grab your clamp, clamp the board to your workbench. And to make this cut, we're going to need a drill with our 1/4 inch drill bit. You just need a drill bit that is bigger than your jigsaw blade. The hole we're gonna drill, we need our jigsaw blade to fit in. So what we wanna do is, we wanna drill a hole in each of the 4 corners where our lines intersect. This is gonna allow us to put our jigsaw down and make those cuts. Now, as you can see, we've got the holes drilled in the corners of the slot, and those holes are big enough that my jigsaw blade fits down and inside. Now we're going to use our jigsaw and cut along the lines. Do your best to cut these as straight as you can. The jigsaw is really the only tool that you can use here. Okay guys, so just like that, we've cut the piece out. So we should have a slot. The next thing we want to do is test it and see if this other piece fits. So, as you can see, mine fits in there nicely. I made this slot approximately 1/8 of an inch bigger on each side, which allows this board to slide in and out a little bit easier. If yours isn't fitting, it's likely because of your jigsaw cut. So when you cut with a jigsaw, sometimes the cut can be slightly angled. So you may have to flip the board over and just clean it up on the back side to make sure that this cut is nice and straight. You just want to make it so that the 2 boards fit together, just like that. So now that we've got the chair cut, the 2 pieces fit together, that is technically the finished chair. So if you want, you can leave it just like this and you have a nice, simple wooden Viking chair. Or if you want, I'm gonna add a little bit of detail to the top and bottom of this chair. It makes it a little bit more comfortable, basically cutting the corners off of here. So I'll show you guys how we can do that. We want to take the seat piece like this and then take our other piece just like this. Now, we're gonna make some measurements on here. So I'm gonna measure from the side over 2.5 inches, and then I'm gonna measure down 2 inch. And on this side, same thing, 2.5 inches over, and then down 2 inch. And we are gonna use a straight edge to connect those marks. And I'm gonna place an X on the inside of the triangle that I wanna cut off. Show you guys this. I've already drawn these triangles. We want to measure over 2.5 inches, make a mark, and then we want to measure down 2 inches, make a mark, and then connect those on both sides and place an X on the inside. That's what we'll be cutting off. Now I'm going to cut this with my circular saw, and then after both sides are cut, we can take this and use it as a template to mark our other piece. Just want to show you guys how I did that, again, to make sure nobody gets confused. So we'll take the board that we just cut, put it on top. We want the front to be flush, we want the sides to be flush, and then we can simply just trace our lines and cut these out. The only other thing is, make sure that this board is oriented where the slot is at the bottom. We want to cut the triangles out of the top of the board, not the bottom. Alright guys, just like that, this chair is finished. So as you can see, we've got the triangles cut out. This is what it looks like now. So this just gives it a little bit extra detail, and it makes it more comfortable when you sit on here, as you don't have a sharp edge. So again, this was optional. If you want, there's one other thing you can do to make, there's one other thing you guys can do to make it so that this stores together really easily as one unit. So what we're gonna do is lay the board, lay the seat on top of the back of the other board, line the sides up so that they're flush, and then if you've got some string, or this is called strapping, what we're going to do is put the strapping on the back here so that we create a little sling that holds this together. Roofing nails work perfect. I'm using 1 1/4 inch roofing nails. You can use screws. You just want to make sure whatever you're using is not going to poke through this board. So it has to be smaller than 1.5 inches. Grab your strap, and we want to mount it so that it's directly under the sides of the seat, and make sure that you have a little bit of slack in that strap. Then measure up 6 inches from the bottom and place another strap. Make sure that there's a little bit of slack. This allows you to easily slide these two pieces together. These are held together as one unit. I like to take my strapping and make one loop on the side here so that I can easily carry this. So to make it so that this is balanced, you want to put the strap 12 inches down. Nail that on. Make it so that the loop is big enough that you can comfortably hold it. Come down another 6 inches. So we are 18 inches down. There you go. Nail that on. Now you have a handle that's perfectly balanced, so you can easily carry this chair around. It stores together really nice as well, so it doesn't take up much space. All right, guys, and just like that, this chair is all done. So as you can see, it slides together just like that. You can sit on it comfortably. It's super comfortable. It's lightweight. It's extremely strong. You don't have to worry about it breaking. With the straps that we put on the back, you can easily slide this together for quick storage, and you can carry it just like that. Now, I hope you guys found this video helpful. I try to make these videos easy to follow so that anybody can copy them and build them. If you could take a second to like the video, leave a comment so that other people can find it easier, and subscribe, that would help me out a lot and I'd really appreciate it. I also have other videos on my YouTube channel showing how to make different sizes of these Viking chairs. So I've got a 2x8 model that's also slightly shorter, the 2x10 model we just built, and then I have a 2x12 model. So you can find those videos all on my YouTube channel. They're all in a different playlist. So thanks a lot, guys. Take care.